Hi. Well, we made it to day 6. And what a great day it is, because now we've fully immersed ourselves in this transformation, and we know that we can do this, and that we will do this, and we will make it to day 10, and this is an exciting time. And just to celebrate that excitement, we've made an amazing class for you. So we're going to start with what we call box on the wall, and instead of using a wall, we're going to use the back of a chair, because we've asked you all to get a chair. It doesn't have to be a backless chair, but a chair of some kind. And we're going to ask you to place your hands on the top of the backing of the chair and keep your ears in line with your arms. Extend your arms and extend your legs. We want you to engage your legs so your knees are lifted. We want you to stretch your arms so that this pose arrives in the armpit and reaches that area. The frontal floating ribs go in and up. The legs stay engaged. If you want to try to lift your toes and spread them and see what that does for your arches, you're trying to keep your ankles directly over your heels. And a lot of times, because we've accommodated to shoes, the ankle falls to the inside. So make sure your ankle bones are centered directly over your heels, just like your hand is directly in line with your wrist and your arm. Your middle finger points straight ahead on both the hand and the feet. The middle toe points straight ahead. So, soften your face, soften your eyes, keep your head level with your arms, and keep reaching your arms away. To get out of this pose, you just walk toward the chair and come up. Now take the chair to the side, and now we're going to do downward facing dog. So you have your hands directly underneath your shoulders, and your knees go back so that they're underneath your sitting bones. Curl your toes under. Exhale all your air. Inhale, lift your head and look up. Exhale to downward facing dog. Your head comes through your arms last. Good. Now stretch your legs back and you press your arms into your mat. Reach them. Reach your arms into your mat. Press the knuckle of the index finger firm. Take your sitting bones up, your knees back. Again, your ankles stay directly over the heels. Just look carefully at your feet. See if your ankles are riding to the inside or the outside of your heel. Keep pressing your hands and pressing your legs back. The challenge in this pose is to get as much weight in your legs as possible. What breaks down, what is asking you to come out of the pose, is the overworking of the arms. So we're trying to get a balance between the arms and the legs, between the sun and the moon, between the effort and the relaxation. This is the essence of Hatha Yoga. So take a deep inhalation and press through your hands one more time. And exhale, come down to pose of a child and rest. This time I'm going to invite you to take your hands back behind you so you could fully rest your arms and let them go, because we haven't stopped working the arms yet. The arms are an important part of knowing that we can. We achieve things with our arms. We produce many, many things with our arms. We're very productive with our arms, and because of that, the poses that have a lot to do with the arms are really victorious poses. And those are the poses that we're choosing for you to do today. Poses that bring with it a sense of accomplishment, a sense that you can do this, that you will do this. You know, we all come with self-limiting, self-defeating tendencies in our individual consciousness. And this practice is designed to overcome those tendencies so that you can know deep down inside that you're stronger than you think you are. So now, please come on up. Take your hands under your shoulders, press yourself up. Come to a standing position. Now you need a wall. And I'd like you to put your fingers about 6 to 8 inches from that wall and come into a pose that's very much resembles downward dog, but is a little narrower than downward dog. So I'm going to ask you now to kick up into full arm balance, upward facing tree. So what you do is you bend one leg, your stronger leg, and you take a step in. And then with the other leg, you want to keep that leg straight, and on an inhalation, kick up into handstand. Good. Now, once you get up there, you press your legs together, you lift your tailbone, you look at your hands, and you try to drag your heels up the wall as much as you can. Stay there as long as you can. You don't want to stay there so long that you're going to fall out. When you come down, just come into Uttanasana, let your torso hang. Let your legs be strong. Your torso is soft, your legs are strong. And now with your hands on the floor, see if you could lean far enough forward so you feel this stretch in the back of your calf muscles. Uttanasana, or standing forward bend, is not just a stretch of the upper leg, the hamstring. It's a stretch of the entire leg. So both the hamstrings and the calf muscles both stretch in this pose. So we've given you enough time to get your breath back. Even if you're just trying to kick up and you're not making it, stay with it. Keep trying. You're stronger than you think you are. And we will show you a variation in the comments that you can do if you can't kick up. But let's try again. So place your hands 6 to 8 inches from the wall. Come into that short downward dog. Step one leg forward. Exhale all your air. And on an inhalation, kick up. Good. Once your legs are both up there, squeeze them together and stretch your heels up the wall. Look at your hands. You're pressing the knuckle of the index finger down, and from there, everything else goes up. You go up with your torso. You go up with your tailbone. You go up with your heels. You're pressing the body up. And then come down. Uttanasana again. Uttanasana. This is a hard pose. There's some kind of very uncomfortable feeling that comes when you're stretching the back of your legs. We need length in the back of our legs so that our legs stop pulling on our lower back. Because we're seated all the time, the hamstrings get short. With short hamstrings, the legs pull on the lower back. So we're trying to use these forward bending positions to lengthen the legs so they stop pulling on the lower back and the lower back can be stable and free. So you keep softening in your breath as you cool down. leaning forward. Get that stretch into the lower leg. And then let's just do one more. So take your hands, your shoulder width apart, about 6 to 8 inches from the wall. A short downward dog stance. Step in with one leg, exhale all the air, and inhale, 1, 2, kick up. Good. Now, as soon as your legs are up there, squeeze them together and stretch the heels up the wall. Looking at your hands, you press the knuckle of the index finger and you go up from that point. You want to take the frontal floating ribs in, the tailbone up, the legs up. And when you've come down, you're ready to come down, come down. And let yourself hang. Let yourself be soft. Good. Now very slowly bend your knees and roll up. Come on up to standing. Now this is a variation of what we call Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to place the bolster in the middle of the mat. And then we're going to take our pelvis and rest it on the bolster. You see the pubic bone goes to the close end of the bolster. Then you put your chest down. You place your ear down on the mat. You rest your arms and you let your legs go. Let yourself relax. Let yourself soften. Allow the floor to support all your weight. So handstand can get the heart pumping, it circulates the blood more, it challenges you in a much more specific way than many poses do. It also brings with it a sense of accomplishment once you get it. Now, if it's challenging for you to get, like I said, in the comments, there is a variation for you. Hopefully you got to see that before you started this video. But if you missed it, you can check it after you finish the video. But this variation of Chaturanga Dandasana really gives you a chance to rest, to return to baseline. And that's something that's very interesting in yoga, that we start to present a challenge to ourselves and we raise the bar, so to speak. And through raising the bar, in that challenge, we exert ourselves a little bit more than normal. So when it's time to get ready for the next pose, we want to soften ourselves. So whether it's pose, counter pose, or you're resting in between poses, it's a really good idea to return to your baseline. And now, from here, I'm going to ask you to bring your wrists all the way back to the bolster. Squeeze your elbows. As you start to press your hands down, you lift your chest and turn your head so it faces the floor. And then straighten your knees and lift your chest up. You're pressing your shoulders down into your wrists. You're making your neck as long as possible. So the knees press up. The arms chase the hands. The shoulders chase the arms. You're looking straight ahead. And then lower yourself down and turn your head in the other direction. And rest there. Relax. Release your legs. Release your pelvis. Let your belly go. Let yourself be supported by the floor and the bolster. Soften everywhere. Let loose completely. So important to let yourself settle. And now bring your hands back to the bolster. So your wrists are very close to the bolster, if not touching. That depends on the length of your torso. Right underneath your elbows. Now squeeze your elbows together. Press the hands in, and when your chest gets light, turn your face to the floor. Then straighten your legs and press yourself all the way up to upward facing dog. So the arms chase the hands. So the arms are reaching for the hands. The shoulders are reaching for the arms. The neck gets long. You look straight ahead. The chest tries to thread itself through the arms, and the legs are strong. If you want to bend your elbows and pull your chest through your arms even more, that trick works. You kind of attach your inner elbow to the back of your ribs and then stretch your arms fully. It's a really nice way to adjust upward dog. Press your legs strong. And then press yourself back to pose of a child and rest there for a moment. Now for this next pose, you're going to need a chair. So very slowly, come on up. Take your hands under your shoulders. Grab your chair. Place it on one end of your mat. Now this pose really changes depending on the length of your torso, the length of your legs. So you might need a blanket, yes? But you might not. So just have it to your side. Now place your forearms on the chair, your upper arm on the chair. The armpit goes right in the edge of the chair. Your hands can be in prayer position. You press your hands together, you push your arms down and raise your neck up. You keep crawling toward the chair. When you feel you're in the right position, then point your toes. Press your arms down to make your neck get longer and longer. If your pubic bone does not touch, you take the blanket and place it underneath the pubic bone. So you have contact there. then the upper arm goes on the chair. You can grab the back of the chair like this if your chair has this kind of shape. Sometimes when the back is straight up, it's a little more difficult to wrap your hands around. You can put your hands on your shoulders, or the traditional approach, the way Kristin first started, was she had her hands in prayer position. What's happening is that the elbows are charging toward the chair seat. With that happening, the clavicles raise up. The top of the head raises up. You get long in your neck, all the way to the apex of your skull. To get out of here, you have to press your chin down on the chair seat, take your hands out one at a time, and sit back on your heels. Bandha Sarvangasana. For this next pose, we're going to use one block. So we're going to lie down on our mat with a block off to our side. Make sure your shoulders are on the floor. So from here, you bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor. You press your legs down to lift your pelvis up and put the block underneath your sacrum. Make sure it's centered. Make sure it's in the right place. Not too high, not too low, but right under your sacrum. Your shoulders tuck under, and then you straighten your legs and extend them. You reach the legs away from you. You press the knees down. You lift the chest any amount, and you soften in your face. There is work here in the legs. Your legs are working. Your torso is lifted. Your chest is up. Your shoulders are down. So you press your shoulders to lift your chest. You press your feet to extend your knees. You keep your knees straight. The pelvis wants to bend your knees. When the shoulders come away from the floor, the chest goes down. So the 2 points here are the pelvis and the chest. And you could see from looking at her position that the shoulders are firm and the chest is up, the knees are extended, and the pubic bone is lifted. The block aids in this lift, but it's not without work. You are working in this pose. Soften your face, soften your tongue. You want to relax your jaw completely here. The teeth are not touching, but the lips are in contact with each other. Soften your face completely. Soften the back of your neck completely. Keep lifting the chest and pressing the legs. This is such a restorative position. Really, really strong position for your thyroid, your heart, and your brain. Because it places your heart over your head, it oxygenates the brain, and it bathes the thyroid gland in blood. When you're ready to come out, you bend your knees. You press your feet down to lift your pelvis up, and you remove the block. And then you just let your pelvis come down to the floor and rest there. You could separate your feet or let your knees fall into each other. Stay soft. Stay released. Relax yourself here. Soften your belly. And now for Shavasana, we're going to give you a new variation with a belt. So please roll to your side, press yourself up, and grab a belt. You put the belt over your legs and you lay down. Now you open that belt up quite wide. You lift your head and you place the belt right where the neck meets the shoulder. It's very low on your neck. It's what a lot of people refer to as C7, the 7th cervical vertebra of your neck. So the belt is behind your knees, and you let your legs go completely. Let your arms go completely. This pulls traction on the neck, and it gives you a feeling of very deep comfort. This relieves the lower back of any stress that might have been caused from any of those back bending variations. So this is a great way to do your relaxation after your practice of back bends. Now, there weren't too many back bends in this practice, but there were enough so that if there's any stress at all, this Shavasana should relieve it. And as I said before, Shavasana is very much a reset switch. So with the corpse pose comes the opportunity for a new life. And you can create this every day of your life. As you complete one day, you start a new day. And that new day can be started with any vibration that you choose. So here you put the positive out first, and you set the intention for your next day as you let go of everything in the past, all the tension that might remain in your body, all the fatigue, all the challenge. You soften that, you release that, and you open yourself up for what is lying ahead before you. All the victories that you can create from asserting yourself. So let yourself go completely. Soften your jaw, soften your arms, let your legs be heavy. As the legs release more and more, you get more and more traction in your neck and a deeper release from this variation of Shavasana, the corpse pose. So to come out of this pose, you simply lift your arms, take the belt off your neck, and put your feet on the floor. Separate your feet, let your knees drop together again, and just rest there on your back. Now very slowly, disturbing yourself as little as possible, roll onto your right side and just wait there. Use your arm as a pillow. Let your belly go. Soften yourself completely. Now please keep rolling in the direction you're facing. Press yourself up with your arms, letting your head come up last. And find a nice simple seat. Sit tall. Please join your hands in front of your sternum. Exhale all the air and press your sternum up into your thumbs as you inhale. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.